made their closing statement to the committee. The closing statement marked the end of the hearing proceedings, and the committee subsequently embarked on report writing. Honorable Speaker, Standing Order 199 provides that a report of committee shall be adopted by a majority of the members. The committee adopted its report on Monday 13th. Today, 4 members of the committee dissented and made their opinion known before the committee. The dissenting opinion is attached to the report of the committee. Honorable Speaker, the Select Committee wishes to thank the Office of the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Clerk of the National Assembly for the support extended to the committee in the execution of its mandate. The committee further extends its appreciation to the sponsor of the special motion, Honorable Wanami, and also the Cabinet Secretary. Finally, I wish to express my appreciation to the honorable members of the committee and the committee secretariat who sat for long hours.
Honorable Naomi Wako, just conclude by telling the House what is the finding of your committee.
Honorable Speaker, the committee, in its report, the committee made the following findings of allegation against the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock. The allegation under Ground 1 on gross violation of the Constitution or any other law, Ground 2 on serious reasons for believing that the Cabinet Secretary has committed a crime under national law, and Ground 3 on the gross misconduct as outlined in the special motion are unsubstantiated. The committee.
Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, order. Order. Wanjala, order. Order, honorable members. Order, Hillary, take your seat. Order, Hillary, take your seat. Honorable members, as you know, the Select Committee has discharged its constitutional mandate. Listen to me, I'm going back to what Otienda Amolo raised. Being an ad hoc committee in nature, the Select Committee now stands dissolved. 2, under Article 152 of the Constitution, as was read to you by the Honorable Otienda Amolo and myself, Sub-Article 9A, if the committee finds that the allegations are not substantiated, no further proceedings shall be taken. 2, being oblivious of the enormity of the matter and having consulted with the majority and minority leaders, I'll give the floor to 4 members on this side, including 4 members plus the minority leader. I'll give 4 members on this side plus the majority leader, and thereafter, all the Honorable Marian Kaitani. When the Speaker is on his feet, all the honorable members, order, Honorable Junet Mohammed, I want to caution you and everybody thinking like you that this is not a matrimonial court. This is a house of parliament, and I will not entertain any extraneous issues. Be advised. So I will allow 4 on this side plus the majority leader, 4 on this side plus the minority leader. Let me hear the point of order by Otienda Amolo. I will also hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for those directions. I think it is the right thing to do, and I will still be reserving my hope to contribute. But the point of order is this, Mr. Speaker. I rise under Standing Order 90 as read with Standing Order 107(1)(e) in terms of conflict of interest. Mr. Speaker, as a member of this House and as a lawyer, I have spoken and interacted with some of the members of the Select Committee. And a disclosure has been made to me that questions and alleges impropriety and misconduct by some members of the committee. And I'm not talking of anything out there. I am talking of things disclosed to me as a lawyer and a member of this House. In that event, Mr. Speaker, it is necessary legally and by our procedures that such an issue is referred to the Powers and Privileges Committee first. Because in the event that there's any truth in it, then it vitiates the entire report. It would result in the report being a nullity and this House restarting the process. So I need your direction, Mr. Speaker, because I believe that in that event, it would not even be right to discuss the report. It is a preliminary matter to dispel any such suspicions as required by the Constitution and by our standing orders, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Tenda Molo, Standing Order 87, Standing Order 91, and the ones you have quoted, enjoins you on the following. 1, responsibility for everything you allege on the floor. Number 2, it enjoins you to respect your colleagues at whatever level, at any rate, in any event. 3, in the event you have evidence to discuss any member, which is your absolute right under the standing orders and the Constitution, you come by way of motion. You cannot, and you know it, you are a senior lawyer. I'm your senior, but you're also a senior lawyer. You cannot cast aspersions against your colleagues without a specific motion against any one of them or several of order. Against any one of them or any 2 or 3 of them. That there was impropriety, there is evidence, and you want the House to discuss a member. I will gladly approve such a motion if you brought and I found substance in it. In the absence of a motion, I want to encourage you to set the trend and the example as the leading lawyer in this House that doing anything different is out of order.
Mr. Speaker.
Marian Kaitani, what is your point of order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand under Standing Order number 184 regarding advance mention of a member. When the proceedings of this particular motion were going on, I was adversely mentioned by the Honorable CS to the effect that I was even the sponsor of this motion, and I requested, Honorable Speaker, and I requested to appear before the committee so that I can explain myself, because I had been adversely mentioned in almost the whole proceeding when the Honorable CS was giving out his defense. And because I was not given that opportunity, accorded that opportunity, I therefore request, Honorable Speaker, that anything that was mentioned regarding me be expunged from the report. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Order, honorable members, order. Honorable member for Aldai, indeed I got your letter this afternoon saying what you have just said, that you adversely mentioned in the proceedings at the committee, and that you needed time to go and purge any allegations leveled against you. Unfortunately, I got the letter when the committee's time was over. The committee has tabled a report. I have read through the report. There is nowhere where you adversely mentioned in the report, but understanding order 184, at an appropriate time, the Speaker will give you an opportunity to make a personal statement on the floor of the House, not today. Once you make that statement, it is not subject to order. The Speaker needs no assistance at all. Once you make that statement, Marian, it will go to the Hansard. It will be part of the annals of the history of this House. I'm sure whatever was said about you, and I was following the proceedings, you are not maligned by one side. Both the accusers and the defenders were mentioning you in total abundance, as you know. You will make that statement. It will go to the Hansard. It will go to the records. It will not be subject to any debate by anybody. But I'll give you the opportunity to purge all those allegations against you. Can I have the names of these folks? One time. The names. Yes, Honorable TJ Kajwang. You know, Honorable Kajwang, you are a member of the committee.
Yes, I am.
And whatever you wanted to do, you should have.
I don't want to speak to the substance of the issues that are before us, because to do so, I would be a judge in my own cause. But Mr. Speaker, this is the first time. Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to get your attention on this. I want to explore a constitutional issue. My minority leader, if you could just allow me to get the ear of the Speaker.
Wait. Okay, let me hear the Honorable TJ Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak for, yes, just 1 minute, for the development of jurisprudence, custom and tradition in this House. This is the first time ever in the history of the new constitution that we have tackled this matter. The other House has been lucky that in many occasions they have handled such matters. And so it is important, Mr. Speaker, that you go in history as setting a precedent, the legal foundation by which many and others, and you know, Mr. Speaker, it is this House that can impeach or can call the President to question. It is this House that can call emergency or can declare war in this country. And so, Mr. Speaker, I just think that this gives you an opportunity to put the law in such a manner that everybody will have the foundation. Mr. Speaker, you see, a report has been given to you. You have looked at that report. Actually, the words you have used, you have scanned that report. In law, you have perused that report, and you have approved it. But the report has not been given to the members here. The members do not have an opportunity to go to room 8 to read that report, even if that report would die here. But to suggest that the members would accept a report one way or the other without applying their cognitive abilities to it, either to understand that the issues were unsubstantiated or not, would be to deny this House its own conscience and to take away its power to debate. Mr. Speaker, I urge you, Mr. Speaker, that you create a room by which as many members as possible may be able to comment on such issues, even if it is going to die here, but give an opportunity for people to...
Honorable TJ Kajwang, I have no doubt that you've been listening to me, and I know you are a very brilliant, distinguished learned junior. I have said, and you remember what Senior Counsel Otienda Molo raised and pointed out, under the Constitution, and the President we are setting is observance of the Constitution and our standing orders. Under the Constitution, when the report comes back to the House and it says allegations are unsubstantiated, the matter ends there. Even the idea of reading the report becomes an academic exercise. Anybody who wants to read that report is available in the table office. You can pick it and read it. The converse is that if the report had found the allegations substantiated, then the Speaker would have been obligated to set another day for the House to sit. And you will then, as a plenary, debate the report and vote on it. At that stage, then anybody will peruse the report, will mark the report, will underline the report, will critique the report, will do anything with the report, and convince the House that the report is right or wrong, and that decision will be made by a vote by the whole House. In the absence of the latter, then the idea of members reading the report remains academic. The Speaker cannot stop you from later looking for the report and reading it. The Speaker cannot stop you from going out there and commenting on the report. But the chips will lie where they fell, on the floor of this House. So I'll now go back to where I started. And the first member I'll call to make a comment is one Julius Meli. Yes, Okello, what is it? Yes, Okello. What is
I thank you.
Order, let's listen to Member Fonyando.
I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would want to borrow your mind on this. A clear reading of that Article 159 in its entirety, together, Article 152 in its entirety, particularly Sub-Article 9, read together with our Standing Order number 66, Honorable Speaker, I do believe that the drafters of these two laws, both the Standing Orders and the Constitution, envisaged a position of unanimity on a matter. Honorable Speaker, in a situation where there is division, there is a minority view, there is no unanimous decision arrived at, Honorable Speaker, that was not envisaged when this was being written, Honorable Speaker. So how do we as a House proceed, therefore, in the absence of a unanimous decision? Does it therefore subject it once again to members of parliament to be heard? Because again, on respect, Honorable Speaker, it is 150 members against 7.
Take your seat.
150 against 7.
You made your point. Honorable Okello, you are a seasoned member, and you should appreciate what our standing orders say. The report that has been tabled here is from a committee of 11. 7 have signed and substantiated. 4 have penned a dissenting opinion. From our standing orders, the committee cannot bring to the House 2 reports. It is 1 report with a dissenting opinion. It remains 1 report. 2, there is no provision in the standing orders or in the Constitution that requires that such a report must carry total unanimity. It only talks of majority members of the committee. And that's what is before us, Honorable Okello. So you are trying to borrow my wisdom. I think I've discharged it to you. Yes, Wanjala. Wanjala, what is your point of order? I mentioned the standing order that you are relying on. That's what every member has been doing.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I know you are biased against me, and I'm not talking. Mr. Speaker,
What is standing order?
I don't want to indulge in the issue of what the report is all about. But the standing order 159 that allows this motion to come in. Mr. Speaker, I have been in this house and you have been in this house. This exercise, Mr. Speaker, is very expensive for a member of parliament to bring these kind of motions, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I watched them on the TV.
Which standing order did you say? 159? It has no relevance to what you are saying whatsoever. So take your seat. Yes, Sunguli. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable Wanjala. You've had your bite erroneously. The standing order you are talking about has absolutely nothing to do with what you are saying. At all, at all. Yes, Sunguli.
Mr. Speaker, I know that you are quite faithful to the, I don't know whether, Mr. Speaker, you can, Mr. Speaker, I know that you are very faithful to the standing orders.
Pardon?
I know you are faithful to the standing orders.
Yes.
And it's not for nothing, because you and I were in the original committee that actually established these standing orders. And you know, Mr. Speaker, that was in the 90s. And don't you think, because you sit in the committee that actually rectifies standing orders, don't you think that it is time you move that this kind of standing order be amended so that we do not leave the authority of Parliament in the hands of very few people, especially in such a very grave matter?
Thank you, Julius Sunguli. You are a lawyer. You know the law is the law. It's not what it ought to be. And the law as it is now is what I have said. The standing orders belong to this House. If in your wisdom you wish to amend the standing orders, so be it. It is not the Speaker to amend the standing orders. If the House wants to amend standing orders, they are dynamic. As you know, the standing orders that you and I and the late Godana and the late Oboja drafted have been amended several times to where they are today. And you can amend them as you wish. Now let me, honorable members, allow a few members to make comments. Then we go to some other business. I'll start with the Honorable Opio and I. Each member has 3 minutes.
The Honorable Speaker.
3 minutes.
Is it? Huh? I thought we agreed 10 minutes.
Majority and minority, I'll give you 5 each. Each member 3 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I think we should be a little bit more patient on this matter, Honorable Speaker, because this is a very, very important matter. Honorable Speaker, this is the first time this House, since 2010, is dealing with a motion for the impeachment of a cabinet secretary. It is the first time we are dealing with such a situation, Honorable Speaker. And therefore I want to plead with you that you give us a little bit more time. Honorable Speaker, I want to start from where Honorable Okello left, very, very quickly. Honorable Speaker, I don't think it was the intention of the framers of our Constitution, 2010, that a decision of this House would be countermanded by a group of 7 people. Honorable Speaker, when we took a vote on this matter last Thursday, a whole 149 members of this House voted overwhelmingly to impeach Cabinet Secretary Linturi. It was not the intention, I submit, of the framers of the Constitution when they enacted Article 152, Sub-Article 9, read together with Standing Order 66, 7, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and I'm sure you know, you can teach us better. There is a danger in this idea of literally interpreting the law. I'm sure you know better than me of the Berryman case of 1946. Honorable Speaker, a purposive interpretation of the law would actually lead us to the conclusion that the decision of that select committee should have been subjected to validation of the whole House. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, there's a higher moral responsibility, Honorable Speaker, on the part of the Cabinet Secretary and indeed on the part of the appointing authority, following the overwhelming decision of this House last Thursday in a vote of 149 against 36. I don't think this matter should have even gone up to the select committee stage. In more decent democracies, the moment this House voted 149 against 36 to send Mr. Linturi home, the decent thing he should have done was to resign. Failure to resign, we would have expected the appointing authority to sack him, Honorable Speaker. Those two have not happened. Honorable Speaker, we are now back here today. We are back here today to continue from where we left last Thursday. Honorable Speaker, I want to persuade my colleague members not to give up, regardless of what the minority of 7 members have decided. Honorable Speaker, against all the available evidence, the minority of 7 members who have decided to let the Cabinet Secretary scot-free, this House must remain firm. This House must remain firm and assert its authority. Honorable Speaker, I dare say that following the vote of last Thursday of 149 against 36, this House will be in its rightful place to resolve not to have any dealings with the Cabinet Secretary, Mithika Linturi. Honorable Speaker, this House has got the sovereign power on behalf of the people of this country to decide not to recognize Mithika Linturi as a Cabinet Secretary in this government. Honorable Speaker, regardless and despite the resolution of the minority of 7, Honorable Speaker, the minority of 7 have actually brought this House to shame, if I may say so. You have brought the authority of this House into disrepute. They have actually made us become a laughingstock in the eyes of the public. And therefore, to remedy that anomaly, Honorable Speaker, I would be actually right. I would be in order to persuade this House to decline, to refuse to recognize Mithika Linturi as Cabinet Secretary from now going forward, and to continue to urge the appointing authority, who is the President, to take the most logical step and sack this Cabinet Secretary, if only to save this country from the kind of ridicule it has been subjected to. With those preliminary remarks, Honorable Speaker, I reject and I oppose. Thank you.
Order, Honorable Wandai. There is nothing to reject. You just make your comments. You are not going to vote anything. I now invite Honorable Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a house of debate and procedures. And I dare say, Honorable Speaker, that this is a granary of wisdom, where every profession is actually represented here. We have experienced lawyers, advocates of the High Court. We have doctors. We have accountants. We have bishops. We also have the wannabe men of cloth. Could be I think Honorable Junet qualifies to be a sheikh. So this is a house where people are drawn from different professions and very experienced in different fields. Honorable Speaker, this is also a house, once one debates, must agree that it is a house where the majority will have their way and minority will have their say. When this motion was brought before this House, Honorable Speaker, the majority had their way, as it were then. But the procedures took center stage thereafter. After the majority had their way, the procedures were followed. The minority proposed their names, the majority proposed their names, an ad hoc committee was formed, Honorable Speaker, and they had their own elections where they elected a chair to chair the ad hoc committee. And the chair of the ad hoc committee, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Naomi Wako, is a reverend, is a person of great integrity, a person that has served this country in her capacity as a reverend, a person that has served this country as a canon, a person that has served this country as a senator, and a person now is serving this country, Honorable Speaker, as the deputy majority whip, Honorable Speaker. And all the proceedings, Honorable Speaker, were in full glare of the camera. We all watched what was happening. It was basically drama. Everything that we were watching, Honorable Speaker, in the proceedings were actually drama. What we were hearing, Honorable Speaker, is similar to what was actually being shown or rather presented before or brought before the matrimonial court the other day. And Honorable Speaker, there is no way a house of competence could have admitted the evidence that was brought. There was nothing watertight as it was being presented, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Wamboka, as much as he tried, of course, to in his role as a member of parliament under Article 95 to oversight, Honorable Speaker, he did not manage to raise a strong case, to bring a watertight evidence, to grow his, profile by pushing through a watertight case, Honorable Speaker, to have the Honorable Linturi impeached. So, Honorable Speaker, I support the report by this committee because I believe in them, and as the house of debate, a house that believes in strength, a house that believes in procedures. Honorable Speaker, we proceed. It is done. We are now done with the whole thing, and now we proceed with the other, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable Robert Mbui, 3 minutes. So
thank you, Mr.
condense
Speaker.
your thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Kenyan farmers were dipped into purchasing fake fertilizer through NCPB under the full glare and the watch of the CS for Agriculture. Mr. Speaker, a motion was brought to this House to dismiss that CS, and members of the House voted overwhelmingly to get rid of the CS. Then, Mr. Speaker, a committee of the House was put together to go and confirm the report and the vote of the members of Parliament. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the members that were put in the committee, 7 of them went and turned the verdict of 149 members of Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, for the record, only 4 members gave a dissenting opinion. And Mr. Speaker, for the record, the Honorable TJ Kajwang, the Honorable Yusuf Farah, the Honorable Kathleen Omanyo, and the Honorable Robert Mbui stood with the Kenyan farmers and said enough is enough and the CS must go. Mr. Speaker, the reality is this, that when we went to that committee, Mr. Speaker, the committee, instead of carrying out investigation as was told by this House, the committee went and turned itself into a Supreme Court of Parliament of Kenya, presided over, Mr. Speaker, by the Lady Justice Naomi Wako. And Mr. Speaker, the rest of us became judges. Mr. Speaker, the question we're asking is this: is the committee of the House supposed to operate like a court, or are we supposed to continue operating like a committee of the House?
Honorable Mbui, I did guide you, and you are a member of the committee. I told you are quasi-judicial. Rules of evidence apply, limitations on hearsay apply, and everything that pertains to proceedings in a judicial court applies. You are quasi-judicial.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are quasi-judicial, but we became a court of law. Mr. Speaker, there was one major issue that we noted, that there were key witnesses that Mr. Speaker was supposed to have been called. The Constitution anticipates that we call witnesses. The standing orders of this House and even the rules of the committee were allowing us to call members to come and give witness evidence. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, 2 key witnesses, the PS for Agriculture and the COO of one of the companies that is supposedly mentioned in this fake fertilizer scandal, were actually not called.
Honorable Mbui, as a member of the committee, you are truly being wiser after the event. Honorable John Paul. 3 minutes. You better compose your thoughts quickly. Give John Paul the mic. There you
Thank
are.
you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the report from the committee and to commend, Mr. Speaker, their good work which they did within 10 days, Mr. Speaker. It is commendable that within 10 days, Mr. Speaker, the committee was able to gather evidence and to interrogate